He's gonna.
Pour a primer on,
All right, back with you here on the Morning Brew. Our first guest of the week is always the good folks from Albuquerque Business First, and my friend Dennis Domrzalski is here with us at the table. Thanks for coming by today.
It's always a pleasure, Larry. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Just one thing. Early in my career, you talked about skipping work. Now, this wasn't me. A buddy of mine, we were at the City News Bureau of Chicago. It was a very small place. We had a bank of rewrite with actual typewriters and headphones. And the city editor would always turn around to see who was available so he'd give him a phone call. Well, my buddy, Dan Vukolich, would always keep his headphones on and pretend that he was typing and pretend that he was talking. And the city editor would turn his head, and there's Dan. And he was never on the phone with anybody.
That's a clever trick.
That is a good one.
Sometimes you just don't want to talk to the boss.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's good stuff. All right, Dennis has been very active in not only writing and reporting about the economy in the Albuquerque metro area, but you know, it's like the weather. Instead of just talking about it, he's doing something about it. And you just convened the first meeting of a Reinventing Our City group. When it was what, about a week or two ago?
July 17th.
July 17th. You had this where?
At the convention center.
Okay. And you had a huge crowd show up.
Had about 650 people, which
Amazing.
is actually, enormous. And the idea was that this was a first step, as I told everybody there. Look, I just want ideas. This is a very first step. We're not going to solve problems in a 90-minute meeting,
Yes.
And I laid out the situation to them, what other cities have done to reinvent themselves, whether it be Pittsburgh, Columbus, Oklahoma City, Denver. And, I emphasized that these areas, regions, actually, got business people together along with the government, and they, it's large committees, and they developed overall strategic plans. And it actually didn't take them that long, 90, 100 days. And, within 9 months, these people were executing on their plans. To this day, those cities have strategic plans in place. They execute on Columbus. In 2010, Columbus said, by the year 2020, we want 150,000 net new jobs over what we've got now.
Nice.
As of March, they had 50,000 of those.
Really?
Yeah, so they've got plans in place, they're working those plans. They benchmark themselves against other cities. They go visit these places. We have nothing like that here. Yes. Absolutely nothing, and that's when I'm trying to get started. And I want someone, as a reporter, you can only do so much.
Sure.
So what we're looking for is, a group of people, I don't care how many, someone to take control of this and assert some leadership. And say, we're going to do this, and we're going to, whatever that may be, whatever you want to focus on, but have something. Aside from hoping that Pete Domenici comes back and brings in more federal jobs. That's not a plan.
No, that's not a plan. Hope is not a strategy.
Exactly.
So 650 people showed up. You had about 90 minutes with them. What was the attitude in the room? Was everybody kind of fired up? Were some people angry? Were some people hopeful? What was it like?
I think people I think there's just a hunger and a thirst for this. We had a couple of 6 panelists. Gary Goodman just laid it out, Goodman Realty. He said, this place is basically unkind to entrepreneurs. You people, you look down on failure. Failure is a part of any process of success,
In other words, we're not letting people fail?
Yeah, or we're, you failed, get out of here. And then he had this great thing about people we've run out of town, and he had Bill Gates up there. And that actually got a lot of people angry, I think. Well, is that all you're going to do? You talk about Bill Gates? But the fact is, Bill Gates was once here. He could have had that here. He's never really told the full story. I suspect they wouldn't give him money because it was an idea. And someone probably said to him, young man, we don't do that type of thing here.
Yeah.
A
rumph.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm looking for is ideas, and also looking for someone to take control and leadership of this.
I see.
Now, what we're going to do is a follow-up to this on August 7th at the Crown Plaza Hotel, and this is a free event. I want everybody to know, absolutely free. Economic development expert Mark Lautman. He's written books. He's built the Rio Rancho economy. He's going to give a primer on how economies work. And it's free, and I urge anybody out there, it's open to the public.
If you've not heard Mark before, he is amazing. He speaks all over the country. He's
an
economic development expert. He's written books on the subject. He lives here.
He does.
And
Yeah.
Mark is fascinating. And he said the old rules just don't work anymore.
Yeah.
The old notion of cities going out and trying to get the big factory to move here and bring jobs, that's kind of an outdated strategy.
Yeah, and the whole thing is that there's basically, despite the fact that we've got all these unemployed people, we have a shortage of workers, and it's qualified workers, and it's getting worse as you and I and the
Right.
baby boomers retire. And companies don't want to come to a place that isn't, for lack of a better word, hip. You know, people want to live there. You can't just plop
Yeah.
down a factory anywhere anymore.
Right.
And the other thing that Mark is going to tell you, he's going to tell you what an economic-based job is and why, and this is what I think is really important for this area, why you cannot grow your economy by opening up 10,000 laundromats or 10,000 restaurants. Those are, you know, those aren't, with rare exceptions, those are just taking a slice
Right.
out of, a thinner slice out of the finite pie.
It's not making the pie bigger.
It's not making the pie bigger. So you want to go out and grow that pie, and those are called economic-based jobs, or jobs that import money. So he's going to explain all that, and I think anybody who goes to this is like a college class in 4 hours. It's an entire college semester, and you will be armed with a lot of knowledge. And what I'm hoping comes out of that is that, you know, I don't care, again, 5 people, 10 people say, okay, we'll start leading this thing.
Okay, good.
That's what I want to happen.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as I said, Pittsburgh, you know, from the time they finally realized we got to do something, they had a guy, the president of Carnegie Mellon University, Robert Maharibian, he wrote them a report, 20-page report, basically said, you people are dysfunctional. 20 pages. And then he said, here's what I think you need to do. You need to start a plan. You need to do some visioning, but he said, you know, 2 months worth of visioning. Then you got to start executing. And within 9 months, these people were executing. So this is not, you know, we can do this too.
Sure.
This isn't that hard. I want someone to stand up and take a leadership role on this.
Do you have some people in the room that you think will do this?
Yeah, I do. There's a number of people who have expressed, you know, interest in doing it. So it's got to happen. As I told these people, you cannot fail at this. The economy that you've had is sort of ridiculous when you really think of it. I mean, it has worked in a way for 70 years.
Sure.
But this is anybody really satisfied out there with the way this economy is going? You know, in this area.
Yeah.
I just can't. And just for the sake of the future of this city, you've got to have more than one industry. And as I told them, you got one company, Intel. So you got one industry, the federal government, you got one company, Intel.
Right.
I think you ought to have more than that.
I think so.
So that's what we're hoping. And this next step, the August 7th thing, is going to be a big deal. Hoping as many people show up as we've got room for. You're going to get a heck of an education. And then you'll just come out and you'll really know, you'll just have an incredible insight into economies and how they work.
The real economy and how it works, not the government-supported economy.
Well, yeah.
You still are welcoming people to come and participate, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not
this
too
is
late.
No.
This
You
is
go on our website. Look, you know, this is so important. I can't tell you how important I think this is. You know, I've been here. You've been here longer than I have. I've been here 28 years. I have heard the same story for 28 years.
Yeah,
We've
I
got
have
these
too.
wonderful assets, blah, blah, blah. Well, nothing ever happens.
Right.
I think everybody has been complacent because we had Domenici and we had Bingham and just bringing in more federal dollars. That is not happening anymore. It is not going to happen, and what you have is going to shrink. So you got to find something to replace that which is going away. The labs ain't gonna ever really go away, but you should be building. I can't believe.
Can you imagine a scenario, though, where one of the labs in the state closes down?
I can.
There is that scenario.
I know that. You've been talking about that. We've chatted.
It's a very real thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying tomorrow or next
Sure.
year, but it could conceivably happen where the government says, you know what? Can't support 2 labs in this state. One of them's got to go. You know, who loses that?
If I were to guess, it would be Albuquerque, because you still need Los Alamos to build the plutonium pits and things like that.
You know, what would that be like?
Oh God, there's 20,000 people out on that air base.
I know.
So and those are really high-paying jobs.
No, I'm not saying this is happening now.
Yeah.
But just think about that for a moment.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up, and that is why it is so important to start planning
I know
now.
people in the state that are concerned about that kind of thing, and it's very real. So, wow, next meeting's August 7th. Where is it going to be? What
Crown
time?
Plaza Hotel, 8 a.m. to noon, and it'll be an incredible primer on how economies work. You go to this, you will be smarter than 99%, 99.9% of the people. Yeah, it's good stuff. So please get out there. Please, I'm making an appeal. Someone help lead this stuff. It can't go. You cannot drift like you have been any longer.
Right.
You've got to do something.
We can't afford to do that.
Yeah, we can't.
Dennis, thank you for, at least in the media, leading this and stepping out in front of it. And I want to know more as we go.
Yeah, I'll keep you informed.
Let's do a follow-up on the August 7th
Okay.
meeting, okay?
Well,
all
Larry,
right.
thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet. Reinventing our city. I can't think of a more important project right now. There you go. Dennis Domrzalski with Albuquerque Business First. Hey, speaking of business, real estate is a big part of our economy. We're going to learn how to stage a home for sale properly with our guests next on The Morning Brew.